Hello, good evening and welcome. You are through to Clint Denyer and the Inveiw. Weekly on a Sunday night, we bring you something very different from the perspective of the news that you've got in today's world. Plus, we bring along an enormous amount of guests every single week. And no exception tonight. We have got a plethora of guests. We've got 4 guests on tonight. We always start the show off with news of the week. And before I do that, Gemma Jane Brooks says, can't wait for today's show. Wonder who the special guest is. Yes, I wonder as well. And the amazing artwork before the show starts is amazing. Well, thank you very much. That's artwork I did a long time ago. Lot to talk about, and I haven't got a lot of time, to be honest, because our first guest on at 7:15 tonight to fit everyone in. And to tell you who's on the show tonight, we have got Moria Wilson, Reiki master, teacher, Angelic Reiki master, Seichem master, teacher, Shamanic practitioner. She's been on the show before. She's a bit nervous. We'll be gentle with her. It's the second time on here. That's at 7:15. 7:45 tonight. The amazing Yolandi Boshoff. No relation to Yuri I Can't Ski, which was on last week, which is going to be guiding you to reconnection, emergence, your divine soul, working with Akashic Records, and many, many different things. Helping you transform your life and your potential and claim your purpose. And then at 8:15 tonight, we got the amazing Karen Jane Price, who hasn't been on for a while. Be fantastic to have her back on. She's international clairvoyant with an extraordinary gift with 25 years experience. And has, as Gemma said already, we have got a surprise guest on. And that surprise guest is on straight after the 3 guests tonight. So I have no idea it is. It could be anyone. Last week it was Yuri I Can't Ski, who was working for Dick Wiener, the window cleaner. Quite interesting. So how are you all out there? I hope you're all well. It is an interesting and difficult time, as you all know, that we're sitting through. Sometimes days are turgid and difficult. Hello, Stella. Welcome along. And sometimes we have an uplift and all sorts. And obviously at the moment, all we can see is quite a lot of negativity going on in our world in relation to this country and the government itself, unfortunately. I'm not going to bang on and on and on about it, but I do like to bring a perspective. And a perspective is about where we sit. Now, I said ages and ages ago, hello, Cusbro. Jason McCusbro's joined us. Hello, Jace. How are you? I said a long time ago that Brexit, we would have a lot of problems come the 1st of January. And we're seeing that now. And we're seeing the fact that they are still not brokering a deal as such. But I feel it's all fabrication and rubbish, to be honest. I don't feel it's real. I don't think it's real because you've got to go back to the fact that when it was agreed in Parliament that this deal or whatever he's got will go through. Once we agreed that, then we said, yes, we leave. And then we paid the European Union £50 billion, a lot of money, which could have helped a lot of people that certainly haven't got homes or anything in this country. And at the same time as we did that, it was to basically start negotiations, which is what we've been doing. And it is over many, many issues, including fishing and everything else, and European state, which basically is an autonomous state. It's not really worth the paper it's written on, in my eyes, to be honest. This is a country. It's a country. It's an island, and it sits in its own power. What we should do is just leave, basically. But that is going to cause a lot of complications. A lot of complications because I do feel that obviously Europe themselves will put in stringent rules and regulations, tariffs, and all sorts and that. So we're heading for a bumpy ride, and that's on top of course, the fantastic and amazing COVID that still sits with us, which gets mind-bogglingly mad every single week. For some unknown reason, the people in power and the shadow government are people that basically are telling you that alcohol is terrible for you. And if you drink alcohol, you're more likely to get COVID. Whereas if you go in a pub, as I banged on last week, and you had a meal, then you've got less chance of getting COVID because you're eating. What it is they don't want people to lose their inhibitions. They don't want people inside themselves to be free. We are, unfortunately, living in what I would call a pre-Nazism state. Fourth Reich, which realistically is very much down to the people that are treating you with contempt. They're treating you with contempt because within inside themselves, they're doing everything. All the bars are open, no segregation in their bars, 17 of them in Parliament. They can smoke in their bars and they get 50p pints of beer. And they get cheap food. And the ministers go in there, all get 250, 300, 400 pound a day just to be there, for their expenses. That's on top of their humongous salaries they get. Gemma Jane Brooks says she agrees. I'm going to come back to Brexit in a minute. But a few things to talk about. One is obviously the very strange news that's going on at the moment, which is monoliths that are appearing everywhere around the world. And interestingly, there was one that had, appeared in Adelaide, mystery monolith covered in coordinates. Covered in coordinates. Remember that? In Adelaide. So this was one that actually had coordinates wrote on it. And I know that there was like a false one that was put on Glastonbury Tour that actually had Banks, not Banksy on it. In other words, it wasn't a Banksy piece. What are these things? What are these monoliths? Do you know, they are cylinder type objects put in the ground. They're miles out of nowhere where nobody can actually go or nobody drives. There's no tracks, there's no anything. They suddenly appear and then all of a sudden they disappear. What are they? What do you think they are? Are they conductors? Are they communicating devices from extraterrestrials that's out there? And if you think I'm mad, I'm not, because they have been here for a very long time. If you don't think aliens exist, you're mad, because they do. I'll come back to that in a minute. I want to just say the very great sad loss of Barbara Windsor in the last week. Barbara Windsor I grew up with, obviously in Carry On Films. I was very young. I was in a pram at the time, obviously. But it's very, very sad news, and my heart goes out to him. Goes out to her and her family. Looking at news of the week, I'm going to come back to monoliths in a minute. News of the week, what do we got? Well, the Queen's trusted head housekeeper at her Sandringham estate has mysteriously quit her job. The resignation of 56-year-old, they always put their age, don't they? 56-year-old Patricia Earle follows a staff revolt that threw royal Christmas plans into turmoil. She said to be embarrassed after some servants refused to COVID bubble for 4 weeks over the festive period. What are we doing? What are we bloody doing? Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's absolute garbage, isn't it? Bubbles, no alcohol. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to go there. What the bloody hell is going on in our world? Are we not waking up to what's actually really happening? I'm astounded, to be honest, because we are in a place where everything is apparently, you know, we must be very careful. We must wash our hands. We must do this. We must do that. And we must wear face covering and we must do everything else. Come the 23rd of December, actually, you don't need to do any of that, because it's all right for 3 families to meet up and have Christmas together. But then what will happen after that is in January, there'll be another national lockdown. Are we going to go through the next year in lockout, lock in, lock out, lock in, lock out, lock in, lock out, lock in? I'm not laughing because of the people that's died, and I really do give great blessings that people have passed. But obviously a lot of them have not died of COVID. They've had other issues themselves as well. But it is not real. That is, in my opinion, only my opinion. And I know a lot of people out there agree with my opinion as well. What else we got here? Well, I was talking about the ridiculous idealism. Look at this man. Who is he? Who is this absolute buffoon? Who is that clown? Who is he? Who is he really? That man's leading our country. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Bojo Boris Bonkers Johnson. Bojo Bonkers Boris Johnson. He's leading our country. You have a laugh, aren't you? Brexit. My cousin, I know, would be champ at the bit to say something on it. Who's listening, said we're never going to leave Europe, and to a degree I feel he's right, because obviously, you know, they need us, we need them. and there's got to be some compromise somewhere. And I do feel that we're going to be lied to beyond belief. Gemma says, unless the schools lock down as well, there's no point. The infection rates are going up. Unless the schools are locked down as well, there's no point. The infection rates are going up despite a so-called lockdown. Boris needs to ask Santa for a comb. Yeah. Well, I suppose that's part of his image, isn't he? And what he does in the morning, he gets up and his hair's all flat, obviously, and a bit ruffled. He's been up and he probably combs it. And then what he does, he plugs himself into the nearest 13 amp socket to make it like it is. And it probably wakes him up, to be honest. Stella says, that's our Doris. You're right there, I'll tell you. Something else very interesting, the vaccine. Oh, my God, have we seen so much tripe about that this week? You know, massive things were said on GMTV when the first day, when the first woman got their jab. And then there was a man called William Shakespeare that happened to get a jab as well. And, you know, absolute garbage, all of it, to be honest. And it's known fact that these vaccines, there seems to be loads of them out there. These vaccines, I feel you will see the results of as we watch time, basically. It's not something I'm going to do. And even if it's mandatory, they can go and screw themselves with rusty nails, basically. Gemma Jane Brooks says Boris looks like he combs his hair with a toffee apple. yeah, he does a bit. Yeah, Farmer Oak says just refer to him by his name, BJ. Yeah, BJ. He needs to go and have a BJ. Basically, might get his hair straight. Do you know what I mean? And as you know, we have got this week on the 16th. Oh, aren't we all so waiting and aren't we so looking forward to the 16th this week, 3 days time, when the government and Boris Bonkers Bojo Johnson will stand up with his cronies and those stupid farmer people that are paid an enormous amount of money, and they're going to tell you what tears we're going in. The only tears we're going in is the bloody millions of tears that millions of people are flooding because of the incompetency of you brats. What tears we're going in. And the newspapers and the media are saying, oh, we could go in this tier and this could happen and that could happen. And, you know, I really feel for people in tier 3. I feel for people in tier 2. I feel for people anywhere in this country that are in any tiers. Unfortunately, the government have no idea what's going on at all, because they're all sitting there laughing their heads off. Ministers have said they plan to abolish self-isolation period for travellers and close contacts of positive COVID cases. The time will be cut from 2 weeks to 10 days from Monday and could be scrapped altogether in January or February. Somebody talk to me. Somebody talk to me. What's that mean? Did you hear what I just said? Absolute madness. Absolute madness. Apparently, this is an epidemic, but it isn't going to be there between the 23rd and 27th of December. But they're saying that the time will be cut from 2 weeks to 10 days from Monday and could be scrapped altogether in January and February. Officials hope to replace it with a system of daily testing. Yes, go and get tested, get COVID. Go and get vaccine, get COVID. Do you know what I mean? Forget about who you meet. Forget about who you meet and breathing. You know, breathing your own toxic shit because you're not allowed to let out your body. What about this story here? We have got a primary school has banned. Listen to this. Absolutely ridiculous. Farmer Oak says they don't know what they're doing, do they? You aren't kidding. They're a bunch of plums. They're useless. They've got no backbone, no understanding and anything. All they're doing, they're being led by the blind. They're being led, I think they're being led by Boris Johnson's hair because something's in it, obviously. Jason says, why doesn't Bonkers Boris and his cronies have the jab first? Well, yeah, absolutely. because they know they would shed their skin and reveal the lizards they are. Yeah, well, you know, they would probably. And Farm Road says they don't know what they're doing. Bev Keating says it's all about control. Of course it is. You know, all the time we conform, all the time we say, yes, sir, no, sir, 2 bags full, sir. Where are we going? And we go down a road where only rich people can use roads. Only rich people can go out and actually buy stuff. And talking about buying stuff, when you actually look at Brexit, what's going to happen here? Because it's such a bloody mess by the people that are in power. These people are telling you that they had a deal. It's all sorted and everything's great. Every single one of them in Parliament should be sacked. Whatever party, they're all shite. Basically, because they're all lying to you. They're all lying to you because there's no one stands up for you. You, the common person. You're a unique identity. Who's there? Nobody. Because we're going to have food rationing. We're going to have, you know, forget about people going to buy millions of toilet rolls. They're going to go and clear shelves, because what we're going to have the 1st of January, we're going to have 16-mile queues down at Kent. And people being bloody awkward in France, basically. And saying that, we have got our first caller. Hello, is that Moira?
It is.
Hello, Moira. I've been ranting away. I have. It's ridiculous.
I heard a little bit of it.
Yeah, I'll just read out a few comments here. Gemma says, what do you think about Rita Ora and Kay Burley and Beth Rigby behaving like the rules don't apply? Well, they're doing exactly what they do in Parliament. George Orwell was right, Bev Keating says. Gemma says, when the nurse injects Bojo, Boris Johnson, and says, just a little prick, she's not wrong. She had. Bev Keating says, here, Clint. Tracy Douglas says, hi, Moira. And Matthew John says they know exactly what they're doing. Don't be fooled by the clown called Boris Johnson, aka Alexander De Faffel Johnson. He's a good actor, and you all need to know they're actors. Of course they are. Hello, Moira. How are you? Good evening.
Good evening, Clint. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm getting off the soapbox now. Well, you know, for a little while, maybe. I don't know. But it's fantastic to have you on. I know you're a bit nervous, but you're not nervous now. You're fine now, aren't you?
Well, yes, I'm fine.
Good.
Always fine.
Brilliant.
No point being anything else, really, is there?
No, absolutely. And how have you found? Because obviously, you know, I know you work in all different fields of spirituality. I know you're on Facebook Live yourself doing bits and pieces and that as well.
I am.
And I know that you're growing and growing and growing, which is really good, because I do feel the energy carries very good, and I do feel what you put out there is good for people. And obviously all of us, like yourself, are signposts at the moment, aren't we, for people? Because people are lost.
They are. I think that this year has been a really strange one for everybody, regardless of what you believe in. I think people are becoming more spiritual. They're looking for something else, for reasons why things are happening. And the amount of people that are coming just for help is amazing, really. You know, people want answers to things, and
they want answers to the bunch of clowns that we have representing us that change.
Well, we can't.
Are they not screwing up people's heads on a constant basis because they never know what they're meant to be doing?
Well, they are. I mean, you know, everybody has their own beliefs in COVID, and it's a hard one. I myself, I don't think I would believe that Mr. Johnson would actually have the injection unless I'm actually there and I pick out of the thousands.
Well, he'd probably have some water put in him, wouldn't he?
Well, exactly. So unless I pick it out of the millions of hundreds of thousands that are there, and I say, right, give him that one, then I would never know. You're never going to know, are we? So we can, you know, we can keep going around and round in circles, but unfortunately I think it's going to come down to either you have it or you don't have it, and if you have it, you're allowed to move around and live a life.
Yeah, but there'd be civil disobedience and riots on the streets.
Oh, there's bound to be, but it is messing with people's heads now.
And obviously where you are, you're in a tier 3 area, aren't you?
Oh, we're in tier 3 up here, yes.
which there's
Well,
nothing
we wouldn't dare
open.
let us out, would
There's
they?
nothing open. No one can go anywhere. They can only go to the shop and buy so much food or things that they shouldn't buy because they're still in the shelves on supermarkets.
That's right.
But there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do.
There is absolutely nothing to do. We can walk.
Yeah.
But the weather's atrocious, and so what you're supposed to do? Or you can go to the gym, of course.
You can go to the gym.
Oh, the gyms are open, but I don't understand that part. Don't understand that.
Well, I don't understand why they're letting people in football matches.
Yeah, but pubs and things like that, and restaurants, no. Cinemas, no. I think swimming pools might be open as well. I'm not 100% sure.
You won't be able to drink a Campari, though, in there, would you? Or a beer?
Oh, definitely not. Excuse me, Mr. Tanya, it's got to be Pimm's.
Pimm's. All right, yes, of course.
I am from the north, you know.
Absolutely.
Not Newcastle Brown.
So in your work, in what you've been doing, I mean, obviously you've been dealing, probably like myself and like many people that's listening here, with people that are, and some of them aren't just people that are not switched on. They are people that are worried or anxious, or it's bringing up lots of things. This has been a year of isolation. We're still in our little boxes, and thank God for the internet, but within it and phone calls and everything, but not being able to meet people, not being able to socially mix, not being able to mingle, not being able to converse, not being able to communicate, not being able to see body language, is devastating for people, isn't it?
It's really, really difficult for people, and people are finding it getting harder is the times actually going on. And it's I don't know, well, all I can say is from my point of view, obviously I said last week that my dad passed away in June.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
But I do think it was a factor. My dad had actually gone out one day in his car at 6 o'clock in the morning down to the beach just to have a look at the sea, and he was sent home by the police. Really? Yeah.
What, because he was down the beach?
He was sitting in his car.
Right.
So he wasn't mingling, he wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting in his car, wanted to see the sea.
And the police were patrolling the beach?
Yes.
My God.
Yeah. And I mean, I was in the Metro Centre the other day trying to do some shopping. I did leave. And you can't actually eat or drink. You can buy your food from whichever outlet is open.
Yeah.
But you can't actually eat or drink it because you're still in an enclosed area, and there are police wandering around.
Really? So if you actually went and bought a burger and chips and a I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of the name, and a milkshake or something, you actually physically can't stop somewhere in there and sit down and eat it.
No, you've got to go outside of the building.
Well, that's ridiculous, because absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, I know you're in COVID-3, but in COVID-2, as I banged on last week, I'm not happy about it. You cannot go to a pub unless you eat.
We're social creatures. This is what people don't understand. We are social creatures, and this is the hardest part about this thing, and this is why people are actually coming to yourself, to me, and to other people, and to actually get help to get through this, whether it's through Reiki, shamanic work, whatever it is, readings, whatever we do.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to shed some light or give them some peace of mind, keep them calm, and let them see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And obviously with the 21st coming up very, very soon.
Yeah, big day.
The energies are going absolutely mad.
Winter solstice. Which the Christians pinch, by the way, for Christmas.
Well, yes, of course they did. But it's, the energies are going wild as well, and people don't always understand that side of it.
Yeah.
And, people are coming, they are looking for an alternative to help them. And, I mean... Do you think that comes in not just ways of spiritual? Do you think that comes in ways that actually people are in their houses? So, I mean, obviously we're looking at, we're not even discussing it, and it should be, and it's not in any news or anything, how actually people are getting on
in families, because you're cooped up with somebody that you might not even like.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think the divorce rates are going to go through the roof when people can actually get out and start the proceedings and things like that. Domestic violence on both sides, not just on a woman's side, but on a men's side as well, is skyrocketing. Suicides are going through the roof. And if we can help people, then we will. The mental health is going to, it's out.
Well, it's off the it's off the radar.
Yeah, it's off the radar completely, and it's like, you're trying to help people because they can't get help through the normal way.
Well, no, not unless they want to fill in millions of forms, and then not have anyone speak to them for weeks.
Well, you've got to go on a waiting list, even people that need the crisis team and things like that. They're not.
How many people out there in our reality right now, in our country, that are qualified? Why aren't they actually looking at this as a major? Forget about a pandemic. There's a pandemic, a mental crisis here. There is, definitely, absolutely. And if I can help one person, then that's, I'm happy to do that. Yeah,
I really am. I'll go out my way to help to support people as well, because it's not just giving them a treatment, whether, obviously for me it's got to be over Zoom or something like that.
Yeah.
But
they're making a lot of money, Zoom, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's the aftercare that they need as well.
Yeah, of course they do.
And I think that's where a lot of people find that it's like that's where the money making side of it is, because obviously, we are here to help, but we are here also to make money for ourselves. It's part of how we live.
Well, it's an exchange.
But I won't take advantage of people either.
No.
I do have a strict code.
And there is a strict code and a very, very strong discipline in any spiritual work, which is basically you don't take the mickey. You actually work with the intuition, what you carry inside yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't work with that, but I do, and I'm sure you do as well.
Oh, definitely. I would never ever take advantage of somebody who,
because these are vulnerable people.
Yeah, such a vulnerable state of affairs. And this year is just, there's so many people that need the help. And if I can help one person, then I'm happy.
Do you feel that we are getting beyond just doing readings? Do you feel, I'm personally, I'm feeling that we're at a place where, a reading is like, giving them confirmation, giving them advice and showing what's coming up, if you like, if you can see that. But, what these people are, what I see is that these people need more than that.
They do. They need so much more. And it's becoming to a point where they need friends. Yeah. And you do become a friend to them. And, for the people I work with, I may not be available 24/7, but I will always get back to them as soon as I possibly can. I will never leave somebody hanging.
Yeah.
And, there's so many people who have passed this year and their loved ones need help here as well. And it's not just about connecting to their loved ones in spirit. It's about giving them some peace of mind in themselves, some way of coping. And I do
because it's unknown. This is a complete unknown thing. We sit in a place that realistically was always going to happen, but there's always going to be something, because it's darkness endgame, basically, just throwing the rattles out of pram. I mean, the light will win here, and I know a lot of people feel that we're going down a very, very dark road, but we aren't actually. It's getting lighter by the minute. I don't feel that it's so stupid, the things they're coming out with, that I cannot see in any shape or form that this will last.
Well, I think people are wakening up to a lot of things
You imagine where you live up there in the huge crowded areas, and all these people very frustrated. They haven't got any money. They're furloughed, perhaps, and that as well. They can't afford to buy any food. They're going to food banks and all sorts. They're getting more and more frustrated. They can't meet up with their friends. They can't go to a beer and have a beer. They can't go out to a concert. They can't go to football. They can't do this. They can't do that. I mean, how frustrated these people are going to be.
Well, I mean, I was told today by a friend that obviously you were allowed to mix with 3 households for the 5 days over Christmas, which, whichever way you look
at it. Makes a mockery of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it stupid. And,
but these people in power...
But we're not allowed to sing. Did you know that one?
No, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. You're not allowed to sing?
Well, no, we're not allowed to sing or make merry or anything like that. So we can have people in the house for a meal and things like that, and then...
I mean, you're not allowed to talk to them. You're not allowed to open your mouth and breathe.
No, you're not allowed to sit around the table. They're telling me to have your Christmas lunch and then virtually get up away from the table and possibly go for a walk.
All right. Okay. What, and phone them?
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, am I hearing this right? They can't tell you what you can actually do in your own home. You can't sing. Well, I'm sorry, I dance around and sing most of the day. It's part of who I am. It's part
Absolutely.
of what makes me me, and it makes me happy. So if they take that away from me as well, then...
Well, they're basically clamped down everything. It is. I'm sorry. Pandemic is a smokescreen. It's to control people, to keep them in boxes, to make them conform, and to stop them being unique individuals. Yeah,
I think so. And we are all unique. And we can't all be put into little boxes.
No, we can't. No, we can't. Especially if we're not born in. Especially if we're not from this planet originally.
Well, that's the other bit, isn't it? I mean, but they won't admit to things like that, will they? So,
but some of the stories and some of the things you hear that are in the press that people can read, it's making a mockery of the whole thing. I'm just going to read a few comments out here. Matthew John says, I look a bit red tonight, apparently. I didn't realise that. Maybe I do. Maybe I got too flustered there. And he tells me to remember to breathe. Gemma Jane Brooks says, in theory, if Boris Johnson has COVID, so has T-cell immunity. Why would he need a vaccine? Matthew John, I'll just read a few of these out. Matthew John, our beliefs. Hang on a minute, missed that. Go up. Here we are. Matthew John said, our beliefs are built on a foundation of deception and lies. When the foundation is wrong, all is wrong. History and everything you think is a lie and everything. You're absolutely right. And what you're talking about there in gyms, Gemma says, you can go to the gym, sweat, cough all over the equipment and share the showers and toilets and change rooms, but you can't eat there.
Yeah.
Matthew John says, I'll get through these quick and we'll come back and you can comment on any of it. So although we have different beliefs, what we really need to do is deprogramming ourselves from the matrix. Everyone is being forced into a dark night of the soul. Hold tight and question everything. Farmer Oak says, I love that name, Farmer Oak. If you wonder why football matches are allowed, it's probably because of their popularity. Remember the Romans and their bread and games, a great way to control people. Matthew John says, under the R09NA Virus Act 2020, only takes one doctor to sign you off as clinically insane. Oh God! Well, I've got no hope then. Bev Keaton said, big things happening on the 21st. Not only winter solstice, but the great conjunction. Saturn and Jupiter will align. Last time it was close at 2000, but this was close. Was 1663. I believe big changes are coming. They are. And just a couple more here. Gemma says there's a poll on Good Morning Britain asking if the sale of mistletoe should be banned as kissing spreads COVID-19. I mean, they don't want us to drink, They don't want us to reproduce. They don't want us to have sex. And Penny says the stupid rules are crap. I heard you can't sing at work because you may spit. Gemma says, I replied, what about the sale of condoms too? Well, there you are. They'll be banned as well. And Matthew John says, what most are missing is a physical world war, which is planned and will be brought in when everyone is on their knees. Albert Pike wrote the script for the Third World War. The first two wars were to the letter. There you are. That's our comments so far, up to speed.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people are in the ballpark. Do you know what I mean? Mistletoe. I mean, look, what they're saying, I didn't even get to it, but they're saying in the news that, Christmas is going to be very different this year. You can't get together. As you know, you can't get together. You can't do this. Man, you imagine if you're on the 16th in a few days' time, it's still tier 3 where you are. And they're going to be another 2 weeks. Well, that's going to take you over Christmas, isn't it?
Yep.
And how do you think people are going to say, oh, good old Boris, well done. We're going to sit here and it's going to be great. But what he's got to say is that it's going to be at tier 3, apart from the 23rd to 27th, when it's going to be okay for you all to meet. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to swear. I'm very tempted to, but it's an absolute load of old bollocks. It really is. Well, you know, it just, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's not easy being in tier 3. It's virtually like lockdown. Nothing's changed, actually.
Yeah.
You know, nothing has changed. And the people
are so miserable at the moment as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're so down and aggressive and miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Gemma says, what a great show. And she says, love this guest. She loves listening to you more when I give you a chance.
I just think that people eventually will, regardless of what you think, they will start to revolt against
they will.
The rules and the regulations and all the rest of it. So, you know, they can try what they want.
Yeah.
But
we're not stupid people anymore. Do you know what I mean? No, we're really not. Before, in the First World War and the Second World War and things like that, in wars, it's a completely different scenario. Yeah.
And it's, you know, there was no internet. Nobody knew what was happening until later on. We can go and we can investigate things. We can find out.
And we can talk to each other on the internet like this.
Definitely. And we don't have to believe everything that's written or put on the television, on the news channels or anything else. And they're just trying to bombard people with their opinion.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the people in the north, it's really, really difficult now. Mm. You know, people are becoming very, very low in spirits and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's a hard thing to watch if and when you do go out. You know,
surely people are, instead of going to the pub, people are obviously they're just going to meet round a friend's house.
Well, some people are. I couldn't possibly say what I would be doing. But you see, they are also saying that there's police out in Durham as well, and they're stopping and asking people about, you know, have they seen anything?
They're asking people where their brain is, probably.
Well, no, they're actually asking people have they seen anything in their area of where they live, and it is, you know, who are your neighbours? What are they up to and things like that? And
it's terrible, isn't it?
And it is.
Yeah, and what about the people that are laying on the streets? They don't care about them, do they?
No, they don't care about them. Well, they're outside, so you know you can eat and drink outside. Unfortunately, you know.
Gemma says we aren't stupid people anymore, but I sometimes am. I put milk in the teapot by mistake yesterday, and sometimes put the keys in the fridge.
No, that's she's all right. She's just evolving.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, no one said it's going to be easy being a human. You know what I mean?
But when the energy starts to rise, and it is rising very high at the moment, then we all do it. You know, my brain goes a little bit.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
And we do.
But we're in turbulent times. We're in dense, turbulent times. They do have the ability to change frequency and vibration. All our houses we live in have dirty electricity, which affects us and affects our frequency and vibration in lots of different ways, which we make us do strange things at times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Karen Jane Price on later says, good evening all. Hello, Karen. How are you? Penny Warwick says, I haven't heard of anyone dying from the flu yet.
Well, I haven't actually, apart from my dad, I haven't actually heard of anybody, only a few people that have actually died of anything other than COVID this year.
I know. It's amazing that COVID's just taken over everyone's death. Well,
this year, from the beginning of January to now, I've lost 4 family members.
Yeah. My God.
And none of them have been from COVID. No. But they were all of the older age.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I know what was on my dad's death certificate, but on the others, I don't know.
Yeah, because they get paid more if it says COVID, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And that's amazing, isn't it? Even when we die, they get paid money for you. You know, and it always amazes me that people are not revolting anyway, because we're born, and I know Matthew John have a lot to say about this, but you know, we're put into the corporation, if you like. We have a national insurance number and all the rest of it, and we become a commodity within life, if you like. And we're taxed. We're taxed when we go to work. We're taxed when we go and buy anything. We're taxed. And when you die, you're taxed as well.
Oh yeah, I know. You know, I'm trying to go through all of that as well.
Yeah.
And it's extremely difficult.
Oh, it is. It's immense minefield. I know.
And obviously, since the last time I spoke to you, I've gone out on my own, and I'm doing things on my own now. And, you know, that's difficult as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is the best way, I feel, for myself, from a personal point of view, that it was the right time to do that for me.
Absolutely.
And I am going to start teaching as well.
Good.
In the new year. So I do have a lot of things in the pipeline. I'm just trying to put everything together. But obviously, you know, with my dad passing then, and it's still hard. In Christmas time is a very hard time for people as well.
It is. You know, it's normally a time that we have great loss as well.
And it's a time of reflection for everybody as well. In this year, we're reflecting on not just the people that we've lost, the people that we can't see, the people that, you know...
Well, the people that are around us, but we can't see them.
Yeah, we need physical contact as well. And
God, yeah, we do. You're absolutely right.
I mean, my daughter, she works in one of the supermarkets because she's at university and trying to get some extra money and things. And she said that there's one gentleman who is deaf and he lip reads.
Yeah.
And she always takes her mask off so that he can actually see a mouth, because he can't understand.
Well, no, how can you lip read with a mask on?
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
You know, and I just think it's such a sad situation that we're actually living in.
Well, it is, because we've been turned Chinese.
Well, don't get me started on there, because I mean, I've been to China on numerous occasions many years ago, and they all wore masks all the time then. So
because of the incredible pollution they have there.
Yeah,
and the
but it didn't seem to stop them from getting COVID when it started.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know, the heat's supposed to kill it, but people in Bahrain are dropping like flies with it.
Yeah.
So, according to statistics,
if you can believe what you're being told,
exactly. So
as a few comments, Gemma says, "What do you think of doctors being incentive?" I can't say the word. incentivized with extra payments and bonuses the more people are vaccinated.
Well, you see, it's, for me, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I will not have it.
I'm not having it either. They can stuff it up their arse.
If I can possibly help it. I wonder how it's going to work with people who are already on medications.
I know. Well, it won't, will it?
No, and
look, vaccines take years, not 5 months.
No, and if they can bring something out that can cure this within such a short space of time, why haven't they brought something out for cancers?
Yeah.
You know, which prior to this, cancers and heart disease were one of the biggest killers.
Yeah.
So why haven't they, if they can bring something out so quickly for COVID-19, why haven't they found something?
Well, yeah, why haven't they? You know, because they haven't, because they're not, to be honest, a lot of the money goes somewhere else, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. Because the pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're getting into some deep stuff tonight.
That Chris Titty, who stands by, or Chris, whatever his bloody name is, Whitty, I think it is, Chris Titty, he's got a big tit on his head. He obviously is not getting paid very much by pharma, is he? No, not at all. No. And most of the cabinet are all in with various industries, including Matt Cock as well. You know, Bev Keaton says taxes, fraud and theft. And Bev Keaton says, what a straw man. Gemma Jane Brooks says, spice things up a bit in the winter. I might start wearing a balaclava as my mask. And she says, guaranteed to make people stay away from me. Don't go in a bank with it, carrying a pole with you. All right. I just want to read this to you because this is how ridiculous it is getting, right? Gemma says it's not Chris Whitty, it's Chris Shitty. Yes, completely. The same as Matt Cock. Listen to this story. This is bonkers. A primary school. Listen, this is mad. This is in a newspaper, right? This is where we live right now in the 21st century. A primary school has banned cutlery at lunchtime over COVID fears, leaving kids eating hot mash and gravy with their fingers.
Now, that's going too far.
Youngsters have been forced to eat cooked meals by hand, with parents fuming. They are being treated like animals. The schools have produced a reduced menu of finger food. Well, do you call pie, mashed potato and gravy finger food?
That's just...
We're going back to the 14th century, yeah?
I mean, this might upset a few of your listeners, but...
Well, you say what you like. Don't I upset people all the time?
The other day, obviously, as we know, I'm in tier 3, but tier 2, London, Sussex, Surrey, their schools are going to get tested because their rates of COVID are going up. I
know. Well, the thing is, there are people sorry to interrupt, there are people now that are getting texts that have not caught COVID to say, come and have a test.
Yeah, but the schools are going to get tested. The school children, 11 to 16-year-olds, are going to be tested.
Yeah, but can I just say one thing? Sorry to butt in again. But the fact is, in the beginning, if people can't have short memories, they were saying kids can't get it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Sorry to butt in.
No, you're all right. But I'm sitting in tier 3. I don't have a child of school age, but a lot of my friends do. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of children are supposed to have it or have some kind of symptoms to it, and the whole class gets sent home, etc. But now that London and whoever, their children look as though the cases are rising, now they're going to test them. Yeah. What about us? We've had it. We've been doing this for a long time.
I know. I agree.
Well,
I agree.
And I'm sorry if I've upset anybody from there, those places. But from my point of view, why don't you test the places that have got the highest rates, or who are in the highest tiers?
They were doing that in Liverpool, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
But
And
would you trust going and having somebody dressed like a spaceman, holding a long stick and poking up your nose?
Well, here you have to do it yourself. They give you it.
All right.
In the test tube, and you have to take it out, whether you're sitting in your car or whatever, and you have to physically do it yourself. You have to.
I wonder how many people got a bit of stick stuck in their nose.
Well, you've got to stick it down your throat first and then up your nose. It's,
Yeah. Bev Keaton says the patent for COVID was established in 2002 by the big pharma companies, evaded every ruling to own the virus and its vaccine. Politicians have big shares in the vaccine industry. It is a lie. Gemma says the scientists in another country posted a video yesterday showing that Coca-Cola tested positive for COVID-19 on a lateral flow test. So, Coca-Cola has tested positive for COVID-19. That's how mad we're going. This is it. You test Coca-Cola, it's got COVID.
Most of the time, the only way that we can get over, like the flu or something like that, is we go to bed and
rest.
Our immune system kicks in. When we come out of this, our immune systems are going to be so low.
They're going to be perished because, in my day, as I said before, I used to climb trees, cut my leg, do all sorts of things. When I was very young, I used to eat coal. Not when I was like 12 or anything, but, when I was a baby, I quite liked a bit of coal at that time. Our immune system is there. And we can't wrap people in cotton wool. Do you know what I mean?
No, we have to mix. We have to socialize.
Yeah.
We are a pack animal.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if we don't socialize and we don't interact with others, then our immune system will not be there, and also our social skills will be so low.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, nobody writes letters anymore.
No, they don't. They write emails very badly.
Yeah, emails, or the
text.
Biggest one is Christmas cards. I mean, are we allowed to send Christmas cards? Because guess what? I've written it.
I know. And you've touched it. And you breathed on it.
I've licked the envelope.
You've licked the envelope. Oh, my God. You can't send it. That's it.
And then it's gone through the postal service. Then it's like mad, isn't it? So do we actually open Christmas cards?
It's just ridiculous. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. I don't know where the time goes. We are running out of time, Moria, unfortunately.
No, that's all right.
I don't, when you come on, you think, God, what am I going to talk about for half an hour? And then you find out actually it's not half an hour. It nearly is 50 minutes. Where's the time go? It's just mad.
I know.
We will.
Thank you very much for having me on.
And let people know how they can get hold of you.
Well, I do have a Facebook page called, I think it's Mediumship with Moira and All Things Holistic. I think that's what it's called. I can't actually remember. But I am going to be having a web page come up very, very soon. I'm in the process of doing stuff at the moment. So, but if you go on to the Facebook page, then you can find us there, and I'm willing to talk to anybody and everybody.
Absolutely.
So, but thank you very much, Clint.
No, we'll get you on again. You're an amazing guest, and thank you very much, Moria. You've been brilliant.
Right, I will speak to you later.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to speak to you.
Right. Bye, Clint. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Hello, is that Yolandi? We're moving fast tonight.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm very well. Sorry, Yolandi. I know you tried to get us a couple of times, but, as normal on these shows, we run over, you know what I mean? How are you doing? I love your name, Yolandi Boshoff. What a name that is. That really is something amazing, isn't it? We had Yuri I Can't Ski on last week, as a guest.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
love it. All us weird name people coming to speak
Oh,
to
it's
you
good.
today.
Well, I've
So
got a weird name as
how are
well.
you
So
doing?
I'm very well. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Obviously, a lot we talk about is not only just ourselves, but the what's going on in the world. And my God, it's crazy, 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 crazy world at the moment, isn't it? But with inside yourself, if you like to say, because you haven't been on for a while, I know, and it's fantastic to have you back
I
on.
just had to be in there the whole time, right?
Yeah. If you let people know what it is you do and everything, because that would be fantastic. Instead of me reading out lots of different things, let it come from you.
Awesome. So many things have changed this year. Well, I think when I met you last time, and we spent time at the fair together.
That's right. We're next door. We're doing readings, yeah.
Yes. I was still busy working a lot with the Akashics and stuff, and then I think my work really shifted a bit this year as well, because I got a lot more involved in doing DNA activations. I'm doing a lot more channeling now and that type of stuff. So I kind of sort of reinvented my business a bit this year through COVID and everything, and just having so much more time, I guess, to look into what really made me happy. So things have taken a bit of a slight massive change for me, and so I'm really gotten into activating spiritual DNA for people and removing seals and those type of things. And
wow.
My channeling has gone a little bit crazy, which has been so much fun. So really opened up for me this year, and just being able to get really interesting messages from people's souls. And I kind of feel like, when you feel like there's this place where you get to go to where you just get so much more clarity for people. So I think that's what's been happening for me this year in terms of my business and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all very exciting.
And it is. It's all uplifting, isn't it? Because what we find, one thing I found certainly in readings, that it's not just about readings anymore. It's actually about what you can do for the person in guidance, basically.
Yeah.
Because the person can walk away from reading but still feel the same. It is about the change, like what you do, if you like, in a way. We all do different things, but it's actually redefining or breaking them out of a matrix to find their own matrix. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think that's the thing for me. That's exactly it, because it's that ability to go into what the soul wants, and then to be able to tell someone, guess what, this and this and this is coming up for you. How do you feel about it? And it's people, their eyes open up and they go, shit, I could do this. This could be something that I can work with and stuff. And it's amazing when I see the people actually starting to do it, and I see how it changes their lives, because that's the most exciting part. When spirit comes to speak and when your soul comes to speak, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I should investigate this and see, and then things just start flowing for people. So I think for me, it's all about finding our potential. And if you can just take someone to that potential and they can see it and they can feel it, then they can start working with it. Yeah. So that for me has been such a game changer this week, because for me, the Akashics was always a bit let's talk about everything that's wrong and I have to heal this and I'm so messed up. And it's actually no, if we just kind of, we do the shadow work and we do the work to heal ourselves, but it's more about why don't we just walk towards what we can see that we're able to achieve and what our soul wants to do. So I think that was a big shift for me this year, is this dealing with your shit a lot quicker. And then actually working on how can I serve, how can I help the world? Did
you find you've been through that yourself personally within the realm of being in a lockdown scenario? So we had to look deeper. You've had to look deeper.
Yes, and it was so funny, because I had my entire year planned out when lockdown happened. I literally had 6 months of traveling. I was going to be working and traveling and going here and doing that, and it was all the stuff that was going to happen. And then it was just no, I have to stay home, and everything, it was months of traveling went out the window, and I'm just I'm at home, I need to start just going in. And then it was just oh, this is fun, let me go and look deeper and deeper, and all of these things came out, and I just started experimenting more with the channeling stuff and all that. I'm I'm really liking that. So I was I was really happy to be locked up in my house and not able to kind of run away from what my soul wanted to do. I'm probably like the only person in the whole universe who was happy for this, but I found it made me look so much deeper. And I've seen that with my clients as well. This time where we couldn't run away from who we are almost, where I kind of feel like we all got like placed in this little bubble to start looking into ourselves. So including myself. Yeah.
And obviously I do feel that what we've got here is a massive experimentation going on in trying to alter consciousness. In other words, to try and detach people away from their soul, with their own union, if you like, in the fear that's thrown at them in a reality, and understanding where they don't sit in reality, and then they shrink. Do you know what I mean? And soul work and activating people is so important. Channeling is really, really important to bring forward whoever is out there that needs releasing, as well as who wants to speak, because we are surrounded by people that want to talk to us on a constant basis without even people were aware of it.
Yes, exactly. No, and it's beautiful to. I know people are going through a lot of hectic stuff and people are needing to release a lot of stuff right now. And it's just like, it's almost, I don't know, I feel like all the energies are supporting us. Like, I feel this real optimism about 2021. I kind of feel like we've all gone through a lot of hectic stuff this year, and we've had to deal with our fears and really understand ourselves and see where, we had to pull ourselves up and really move forward. But I just have this like amazing feeling for 2021. It's just like, after when we go through this 21st of December, the portals, everything that's happening now, I feel like people are going to fly if they just allow themselves to step into that space of freedom and allow themselves to actually like just drop the bags, right? Just like drop all the heavy baggage and just like start expanding their consciousness. It's just like, it's nuts. I'm really excited for next year. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I don't think anyone can say for certain.
But where obviously, because it's all doom and gloom, and obviously when you turn any news on, it's all fear porn everywhere. And obviously the greatest thing in the world is vaccine, which I don't feel is the greatest thing in the world, because it's completely untried, untested. And I feel that it's something else that's going to infiltrate people to detach themselves from their soul or their inner workings. Do you know what I mean?
But then what is it? What are we going to choose, right? What do you choose for yourself? What is like my choice about these things? I think that's where we need to start thinking for ourselves. Absolutely. And that we just need to be. The more we get to know ourselves and the more we trust our instincts and the more we trust our feelings about stuff, we're not going to get wrapped up in all the, like, oh, I need to be scared and I'm going to die and all that type of shit, right? Because if I know in myself that I am safe within myself, then I'm not going to let all these external things rattle me. I mean, it is what it is, but it is still outside of you. I mean, I feel like this whole 5D perspective on all this stuff is really required now, where we kind of lift ourselves up out of the fear. And it's almost like you have to look at it with a sense of detachment. Well, for me, that's what works, right? I'm observing all this shit going down. I'm going, okay, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. But I come back to me and it's like, what can I do? What can I do to uplift other people? What can I do to make other people less fearful and basically not get myself caught up in the shitstorm? So that's where I'm like, I'm trying to stay in this space where I can inspire people to go, okay, that stuff is happening, it is real, but what are you doing for yourself? How are you serving and getting people out of fear? That's that's where my mindset's been with the whole thing, because I think there's a lot of people who are still learning to think for themselves and learning to step into that space.
Well, they have no choice, because they're being taken into an incubated state, aren't they? In lots of ways, to look at themselves in a way, to realign and look at themselves in a different way. Look at who they're with. Look at what they're doing with their life. Look at their partners. Look at their life. Look at where I am, what I want to do. And obviously within it, there is, as you said, you're absolutely right. The building block is not what is out there, but obviously because we're in, and I'm talking about a vast majority of people here. Because I do feel that I think the vast majority. I'm gonna swing it in the fact that both sides are majorities, because I do feel that there is a massive amount of people waking up now to the fact of what's going on, and looking at themselves and coming out.
Yeah.
But I do feel that we still have a very hardcore element of people in our reality that if you went along and said to them about their soul and about looking at themselves, they basically tell you to bugger off. They really would, because these are people that seem not just lost, but almost demobilized in reality, in relation to having an understanding or any justice or rational thinking in reality. Do you know what I mean? With themselves. I'm not talking about their life. And they're people that sit in bubbles of absolute confusion, lostness, isolation, and anger as well.
Yeah. But hasn't that always been the case?
It has, but I feel
for a million years.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. It's always been there. I agree. But I feel that it's been through the sensitivity of what we're going through. I feel that this has reached new highs now. And there is a huge amount of people that is still, you see them when you go outside. They're people that you know, they want to get the trolley before you, they want to get in front of you, they're scared stiff of you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I get you, and I see that, and I'm just, the thing is, I think that's always been there. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's like it's more amplified, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, because of how we're living now, it's like a massive spotlight shining right now. I'm going, oh my goodness, because it's almost like we can even see clearer now. Like, having gone through this year, right? And like, you're actually just observing this and going, oh my goodness, there is such a massive divide. Yeah. But it is what it is. And I think for me as a light worker and someone who is trying to get people to be more conscious, right? I do it through my behavior. I do it through my actions. I do it through what I put out on social media. I do it through how I live my life, my stories I tell, all that type of stuff. So the thing is, like, you know, if there's 1 million people out there and 100 people hear your story and you sow some seeds and they have like an inkling of their consciousness expanding, then shit, man, I've done my job, right? Like that's kind of like, I wish I could save the whole world, but
we can't do that. We can't save the whole world. It's a bit like, you know, we can't save everyone from dying, because the natural reaction is we live, we die.
Yes, exactly. Those are the cycles of life, right? And that's also the thing. And I think the more you understand from a conscious perspective that these are cyclical nature things that happen, people get sick, they pass on. Like, you know, it is like, what does nature do? The weaker of the species will die. That type of, it's just like, you know, we've forgotten about cyclical nature. We've forgotten about how nature actually works because we think we can control it. And it's also like when we realize that we can't control shit, we can control nothing. Then what? Like, then you need to sit back and go, okay, cool. So what can I do with myself to make my life like count, and how can I help people to actually wake up? So that's what I keep on sort of coming back to within myself. It's like, that's my purpose and my responsibility here on earth.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to spread that word as what you're doing. Exactly. Gemma Jane Brute says she's really enjoying the show. Well, thank you very much. And so is Stella. Matthew John said it's great. It's a great mindset to have Yolandi on. What's missing is knowing the law and our rights. We've not been taught them. That's why, because we go to school and we're not taught the right things. That's why the world is in this shit show. We can only save ourselves in every way, which is absolutely right. But every time, as you say, it is in our actions, it is in our consciousness, it is in our invisible realms that we carry with us, and the people we carry with us in those realms, in our reality, that interject and interconnect.
And you know what I'm like really quite freaked out by, and I mean, just because of the work I've been doing and like just the people I've been speaking to this year, is about how little we really understand about our own truth. Like, I don't know how many people actually sit down and go, okay, where does my truth actually, where does it come from? Like, how did I come to this point in my life where I believe that? So did this come from my mom and dad? Did this come from society? Did this come from this area or that area? Why do I believe what I believe? Like, where are all these things? And so I think it's it's also when we start educating people on how to actually like step back into their own truth, because you don't have to believe what I believe, and I don't have to believe what you believe. But I need to understand why I believe what I believe. So I need to spend some time sitting and going, hey, let me think, who influenced me here? What book or what show or what person made me think this? And what do I want to think? And I say, for me, that's been shocking to see how people just sort of take the mass consciousness and they run with that without actually spending time going, what is it that I actually believe? So it's been one of my big missions has been to teach people to get back into, you better know why you believe what you believe, because it says so much about you as a person, and it literally guides your entire life. So you can't just keep on running on that, the fuel that everyone else has been giving you, right? You need to create your own thing.
And that does come down to basically combining your soul, your intuition, and your mind, and the records you hold within inside yourself. And that because I say to people, you are everything. You have been everything up until this point. So every past life you've had sits with you now, here in all your schools, all your tools and abilities and everything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And it was so interesting. I was having this conversation with my husband today, because we were driving the car and we were talking about like these realms of ideas and thoughts, and like, you know, the Akashic's literally like holds everything. So you've got like all of this information in there, and every single person has got like this little place where their information that their soul knows, and it's in there, right? So, and I was just saying to him, like, so what I do is I get to go into that space, but what I'd love to do is for people to be able to go into their little knowledge, wisdom space themselves and get that out, because, you know, your mathematical formulas, your amazing inventions, everything sits in that space, in this like realm, right? And like, if we could just teach people to actually realize that you don't have to just be in this blocked view with your blinkers on, and you can go up there and you can get this information and bring it all down, because it's all there, right?
It is.
It's just a matter of like, we can all go there, we can all access it. You're not special or anything like that. You don't need to be like a super psychic to go there. But like, there's all this stuff, and I was just like, it's so amazing. Like, like one of my biggest wishes is that people just start like reaching into those parts of themselves and bring all this wisdom and knowledge in, because we can fix so many things that's wrong in the world if we actually did that, right?
Yeah. So, but to fix that is for those people which they are waking up and looking at themselves in different ways, to formulate a different life, if you like, in relation. So in a way, many of us are living a life here, but away from the life that they want us to live. Do you know what I mean? Because we sit, because once we grow into spiritual people, we actually become an observer. So we stand outside ourselves and anything that happens within our life, we instead of making rash judgments, we think very carefully. It can be milliseconds, but we go through the records that we have within inside ourselves. Say, yeah, I've been here before. This is what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And for me, the coolest thing is that, like, that ability to detach yourself from the emotion, that ability to detach yourself from it all, and just like look at it and go, okay, well, what is happening here, and what am I supposed to learn? How's this all fitting in? Like, for me, every day is a constant analytical process of every single thing that I observe. Like, I keep on like looking at it and going, okay, why is this happening? Where does this fit in? And it's just like, if we can start doing that, you bring so much more peace into your life, because you're not constantly consumed by all of the anger and the hatred and all of that type of stuff, right? And the resentment. But if you just stand up and you just look and you go, oh man, that guy, look where his consciousness is at. Oh my goodness, okay, I understand this. So like, it just makes my interactions with humanity feel a lot less frantic almost.
Well, the thing is that many of us know that where we've come from before, and even the places we walked in this life, in lives that we've had on this plane, because we've been here many times, a lot of us. I mean, you know, we've been in a place where there's been freedom, where there hasn't been hierarchy, where there hasn't been stringent rules, but everyone gets on and they know that there's certain things they can and can't do. The thing is that the world we live in at the moment is a place where irrationality and everything for a lot of people has gone out the window, because basically it comes down to the mental behavior and attitude of people, where you're saying that they should look at themselves, but the problem is with inside themselves, with whatever insurmountable baggage they have, they you know, what we should do basically with human beings in this country and around the world is, at school they should go through a program of sorts where they're taught meditation, where they're taught thoughtfulness, where they're taught that actually you have to look at yourself, where they sit in a room and have to listen to themselves, the sound of silence. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's what I keep on saying to people. I'm like, no one taught us this. Like, you know, I'm in my 40s now and I'm going, I had to figure this shit out for myself.
Yeah.
Like, no one taught my parents. No, like, and now I'm like, my responsibility is to teach this to my son, right? Like, I am on a mission. With him, it's all like, dude, consequence, choice, everything you do has got a consequence. You have to think about what you're doing, analyze this, look at that. Yeah. But I'm one parent and there's like billions of children out there, right? So if the parents, if us as like conscious parents can start like teaching our kids to also play in this space, I mean, we can start bit by bit changing the world at least. But it's up to us. We have to take responsibility. And I think that's a biggie. And it's just like, how do you get someone to want to...
You've got to begin with it. Sorry, an advert crop up here. My computer comes up with adverts. Penny Warwick says they do mindfulness on schools now. I mean, technically, we should have a completely different mindset, because we're taught lots of things we don't need, and we need to start at the base camp. We need to start where, you know, schools are taking kids out into nature to listen, to stand and listen to the wind, listen to the trees, listen to the birds. This isn't hugging trees. It's about finding the peace within. This is the thing. To find the peace within is a beginning point of actually building the building blocks of what you are inside yourself and the foundation.
The getting quiet bit and being able to listen to your soul speak to you as well.
Yes.
That's a biggie for me as well.
Yeah, Matthew John says the law sets you free. It's passed down from our ancestor tradition. No wonder they don't teach us it. And he says, totally agree, Yolandi, taking a step back and looking from an observation deck, which we have to do realistically at this moment in time. Do you know what I mean?
If you want to survive and not die from like, you know, like all the hecticness that's going on. Because I think like I sometimes feel like if I get onto social media and I'm like so overwhelmed, I'm like, I just have to switch this off and leave. Like I can't be in everyone's hecticness at the minute, right? The negativity and all that type of stuff. So I'm just like, if I move myself out of it, I can go into the forest, I can calm myself down, and I can just like start again. So I do think it's important just to also like take ourselves out of that intense space where the energies are just so like hectic and those lower vibrations. That for me is a biggie. So nature is definitely for me the biggest remedy.
Absolutely. And nature is everything, because we are part of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you can that for me is like you find yourself there again, right? It is just what it is. So so it's quite beautiful. But
So, I mean, in relation to, because we're obviously everything is being pushed here, we're running out of time as normal.
I know. I was just looking at the watch and I'm thinking, whoever's after me is going to be.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's all very lucid and moves to different points and all sorts. So, in a nutshell, you know, if you put out there what you offer, and give you details out of how people can get hold of you and also, I'd be really grateful, Yolandi. And we will get you on again, because I want to delve more into the channeling side that you spoke about, which we haven't done tonight.
Oh yes, I'd love to talk more about that.
Yeah.
So I think for me the big things that I'm working with at the minute, and I'm really like looking forward to connect to more people on is the channeling. So I call it a soul guidance session, and it is literally like we sit and I'm going to chat to your soul and I will tell you everything that I see, and sometimes it's quite freaky. I never know what's going to happen, but that's the fun part of it. But then what I also do is I combine the channeling stuff with the DNA activation. So we basically map out like an entire plan with the soul in terms of like where's your gift, what are you going to do, purpose, all that type of stuff. So it's like literally going back into the depths of the soul to show you, like, where is it that your soul wants to go? What is it that the soul wants to create, experience, go with, run with in this lifetime? Because that's one of the things I think that so many of us are missing. Like, we don't understand really, like, what am I supposed to be doing here? What's my purpose? So the DNA activation has literally, like, shifted my whole life around this year. So those are the main things that I'm working with at the minute. And if the guys want to check out my website, divinesoul.me, there's like all the information about what I do. My YouTube channel, my podcast is on there. I've just started a podcast a few months ago. The A to Z of spirituality as well. So there's lots going on at the minute. It's fantastic.
And it's fantastic to have you back on, Yolandi. And hopefully, you know, all of us are going to meet up at some point soon.
In real life.
I hope we all meet up very soon in relation to being out there and doing fairs and events and everything else. So
yes, hopefully.
You've been brilliant. Thank you, Yolandi. And we will catch up with you in the not too distant future. And get you back on again. And I want to delve more into channeling side. Sounds very interesting.
Awesome. So Merry Christmas to you, and I hope you guys are going to have a fantastic New Year and all that good stuff. Yeah. We'll definitely catch you in 2021 again.
Yes, definitely. And I look forward to that. All right.
Thank you so much. It was great to talk to you.
And you. Thank you, Yolandi. Thank you.
Okay, keep well.
Bye. Yolandi, amazing. Absolutely amazing. We have got on next Karen Jane Price. She just tried to call in. I think we're going to call her back. And this is our third guest tonight. It's very, very packed show tonight. Hopefully this will be Karen, I hope. Hello, is that Karen? How are you? It's Karen Jane Price, 25 years, international reader and medium. How are you doing in this in what we sit in and everything else?
Oh, I'm just loving it. I've got a pile of popcorn ready on the go. I'm just loving life.
and you know, in relation to, because obviously you've been out there, you've been doing stuff on Facebook and you've been doing all sorts of bits and pieces, and obviously you're doing Zoom and stuff like that as well. We all miss meeting up and being at events, which will happen again at some point one day, hopefully. But you know, what we have got is a good medium here, though. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, thanks, darling.
You know, in relation to moving ourselves out there and actually seeing what's going on, and the medium I'm talking about is the medium of the communication we have in the internet, of what we have right now, which is, if we didn't have that, can you imagine what it'd be like?
It'd be hell.
Yeah,
but we're in hell anyway. But
yeah. I was just talking to Yolandi, I don't know if you heard or not, that technically, you know, for this to all change, we need to actually be teaching things at a very early age in schools about us.
Oh, absolutely. It's all mind control. The television, everything is just mind control. And it is the kids I just feel sorry for. I mean, bloody, can I swear?
Yeah, you swear.
Fucking hell. NHS, their new video with Father Christmas.
Well, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God. Go on to NHS. They brought out a video for Christmas, and it's got Santa Claus in bed with oxygen.
Really?
Yeah, it's horrendous.
That is horrendous. Terrible.
It's sick.
What message are you giving out to the children? You know?
It's just so corrupt. I mean, they've messed their schooling, their education, all the things like kids like Halloween and all that. It just does my head in.
I can't believe that they put together a film for the NHS with Santa Claus on a respirator laying in bed with COVID.
Yeah.
That is just disgusting.
the nurses come round, they clap, and they sort of wish him well, and when they leave, they do a little dance, and he's on his merry way. But he's on his sick bed, basically.
Yeah, Stella, who's listening, watching, says Father Christmas video stinks. I've seen it. It's totally dreadful. Matthew John says it is a nice bit of social engineering.
It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
I'm lost for words, to be honest. I mean, you know, some people say to me, why do you read lots of negative things out? Because basically what I'm trying to do is re-educate people to look at things in a different way. I mean, the ridiculous story I just read out, where there's kids in a school that can't use cutlery, so they've got to eat their mash and gravy with their fingers.
It's crazy.
What world do we live in, Karen? Where are we? This is just absolutely bonkers. We're 21st century. We're supposed to be one of the greatest countries in the world. We're a laughing stock.
Not for much longer.
Not for much longer. It's going to change.
Yeah, it's going to change.
What do you think is going to happen?
Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment, and the vaccinations I don't believe will roll out.
Really?
No.
Well, I mean, to be honest, would you have one? I wouldn't. And you know, would you I wouldn't let them near me to test me, to be honest, because I'd be worried that they'll stick it in my nose.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Pfizer, the director of Pfizer, sold all his shares just before they.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's all a drama at the moment. They're playing it out, and I don't believe the vaccine. It's interesting how they've just brought up, you know, people with allergies, and not to take it. I mean, none of this has been tested.
No,
there's no comeback if you die. You know, what the hell they're playing with.
Because they've actually said that if there's any comeback, none of the companies going to get prosecuted.
Exactly. They've got a clause written into the contract.
So I mean, they could be putting anything in those people.
Exactly.
And you know, you've got all these people on television, eminent people that people look up to a degree, not me, but a lot of other people. You got people like Piers Morgan, says Anna Reid, all cheering and wonderful because this vaccine's here. It's all going to be great, and this is the end of COVID. Are they mad?
Exactly, and it's all propaganda. I mean, the supposed first woman they injected. I mean, it's a joke, an absolute joke.
Well, I've heard she was an actress.
She is, but she was also at Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
There was a woman that was pushed over. It's the same actor.
Yeah. I'll just read a few comments here. Penny Warrior says they're driving fear into kids as they are going to the next generation. Gemma says they say Santa is dead next, so kids won't enjoy that anymore. And she says putting Father Christmas on a ventilator is child abuse. Some little kids would be so upset by that. I think it's disgusting. Matthew John says people need to think for themselves. The government has only ever issued guidance. When did we all become so conformist? And the first man to have the vaccine is bloody William Shakespeare. You couldn't make it up. And the other thing here, Gemma says, and what are all the people suffering from narcoplasm? I can't say this word. I'm sure I won't say it properly. Narcolepsy, NARCOLEPSY, permanently damaged from the swine flu vaccine, well documented too. I mean, you know, you only have to look at what Bill Gates and Melinda did out in Africa with the amount of people that died. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. And the AIDS, you know, all the controversy about the AIDS injection.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. But I do feel the awakening is happening. I know there's still a lot of people waking up. I see so many awake now that are questioning everything, which is amazing. But I have been having some crazy premonitions.
Really?
And remote viewings. Yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff. Unbelievable.
Do you want to share any of that?
Yeah, it was actually last week. I went to bed and I was just shutting my eyes and I saw this very clear image of Madonna and then Diana molded into one.
Really?
And I thought, what the hell is all this about? And I went to sleep, woke up in the morning, I thought more about it. And it was also, what they were showing me is the dark and the light.
Yeah.
And the two faces that people can have.
Yes.
Evil and good.
Yeah.
And that was very prominent to me. I had a Shamanic warrior in my reading room the other day, which I managed to capture a photograph of.
Okay.
He was huge. He was stood at the window. Absolutely. He was like, I don't know, 8 foot tall. He was huge. He was built like a brick shithouse. Bloody hell. Yeah, and that's on my Facebook page. People can see that on my Facebook page. And yeah, I've seen a lot of ETs, some really bonkers stuff. My vision has really, over the last month, has just expanded massively. Gone on to another level. Yeah, definitely.
And don't you think that in relation, I was talking about very briefly, I spoke about it, I wanted to talk more about it, but you know, in relation to, it's not all doom and gloom. There is lots of other things going on that people don't realize. Like, no, you don't see it on the news because they don't report it. It's very, 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 very smallly reported. Is these monoliths that keep turning up.
I know. There was one in Glastonbury, wasn't there? I know.
That says not Banksy. There was one. There was one in Poland that was by. I think there's been about 15 or 20 of them now, and there was one that actually had coordinates written in it.
Wow.
Is this the new crop circle thing, do you think? Because they're there and then they're gone. What I can't understand is that if it was me, probably you yourself, and you were there and you see this, you want to go over and see if it's real, wouldn't you?
I would want to check in with the energy, but also what's interesting, the deep state have messed with the ley lines.
Yeah.
So it could have something to do with the ley lines, realigning them or something. I have no idea, but they're quite intriguing.
How have you found? Obviously, you're going through a lot of change. All of us are in lockdown, and you know, have you found that as with most of us that you get a lot of people come forward to you, and it is about not just giving a reading, but actually, you know, trying to piece them back together, basically.
Yeah, very much so. And it kind of showing them the light. It's more showing them the light and the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, it's opened a lot of eyes to a lot of people that have come for readings, and given them hope. I mean, it's horrendous because I had I'm not going to mention any names, but I had a lady a few weeks ago who was close to committing suicide.
Wow.
She hadn't seen anybody. She was locked in her room. She was frightened to go outside. And I literally had to, it was more of a counselling session more than anything. But she's brighter. She's brighter in herself. She lost her husband at the beginning of the first lockdown. And they put him down as COVID, but she knew he didn't die from COVID. He had a heart attack.
That is disgusting, isn't it? That's disgraceful. I've heard it so many times, and it's wrong. It's completely wrong.
Yeah.
But what I was talking about earlier on, that the people that are, it's the pandemic of mental illness, basically, and of people that are being, you know, completely lost in this reality. I know that we're talking about we're helping them and all sorts, but a lot of these people we can only help if they come forward.
Exactly. But also, I'm finding the younger generation at the moment are really struggling.
Oh, yeah.
Massively.
Yeah. I agree completely. But they, in a way, the younger generation have been programmed, haven't they? For a very long time with phones, games, all manner of different things. And you know, the way that we're supposed to live a life these days is very different to when I was young, and probably you as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they've known, I guess they've known no different. It's in films. It's from cartoons onwards, really, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, you're right. But you see, the best way to hide stuff is actually putting it in front of people.
Yeah.
Penny Warwick says the younger ones don't see it like the older ones do. And it's interesting because, you know, now they're talking about a couple of things, really, is the fact that they're talking about that 5 to or 6 or 7, I don't know, whatever age it begins from, to or even 11 till 20 are people that actually got it now, where in the beginning they didn't.
Yeah, they change the goalposts all the time.
Of course they do, because the most disgusting thing I've heard, I know somebody that actually has been sent saying you can have a COVID test, and they haven't got it. And they're saying that you know, we must test everyone, basically.
Yeah, but these COVID tests, I mean, I've seen videos where people have ordered tests, and one guy actually videoed what he'd done. He stuck it in a puddle outside his house. Yeah. And sent it off. And he did another one, and he did absolutely nothing. He popped it back in the container, and they both came back as negative.
Yeah.
So, you know, these tests are just...
They're rubbish. I mean, Gemma mentioned that somebody tested Coca-Cola and it's COVID-19 positive.
That's just ridiculous.
And what people got to realise is that from the moment that humans evolved, they got disease and viruses, millions of them, and we cannot wrap people up in cotton wool.
Well, exactly. I mean, if we look at all the stuff that's floating around in our guts.
Yeah, I'd rather not, but yeah.
But we've got massive amounts of bacteria in our gut. I mean, our immune systems are the best. Why they think having a vaccine? Yeah, that's beyond me.
And I do feel it does come down to the fact that people within our we live in a society where supposedly we want everyone to live. Now that would be lovely, but unfortunately that's not the case. And you know, we live in a society where people are born, hundreds of people, thousands are born every day, thousands of people die every day for all sorts of different reasons. But you know, if we're not balancing anything here, it's all very construed and off kilter, because there is a massive amount of people sitting on another scales that's not being looked at all, and that is the cardiovascular, cancer, all these people that are sitting in their houses already in a state of flux and toxicity within inside themselves with fear, and they're not going to go anywhere near a hospital. Do you know what I mean? All right. And a lot of them aren't that busy.
That's right. And then there's the people, I mean, I had a lady who was diagnosed with breast cancer through the first lockdown, and, you know, she's just put in the behind list.
Yeah.
And it's like all these people, everyone that needs treatment are being refused treatment. They're putting COVID before anything else. And I just wonder why the NHS, I mean, don't they have a heart? Don't they see the bigger picture here?
Well, no, because they're being led by people that really are playing games, basically, very dark games. Penny Warwick says doctors used to say viruses heal themselves after 7 to 10 days and no need for medication. You know, that's very true. I have been to a doctor in the past, quite a long time ago, because I had a very bad virus flu-y thing, and he said, "Well, just go home. It'll get better."
Yeah, and they also stopped antibiotics.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
because they were giving antibiotics to everyone.
Yeah, and they want your immune system to fight the bug.
Yeah.
Rather than an antibiotic going in and weakening the immune system.
But this is, I mean, obviously there is many people out there taking all sorts of different medication for different things, and to keep them on a path and all sorts. And obviously when we get a situation of like this vaccine, also people like that can't have this. So what happens to them? Are they the people that are not going to have a passport, are not going to be able to go to certain places? I mean, where is it going to end? You know, are you going to walk around with a badge saying, "I've been vaccinated, I'm okay"? Or are you going to walk around saying, "I'm a leper because I haven't had it"? It's disgusting.
It's bonkers. It's just all bonkers.
I mean, you can't write this. This is some 21st century film we're in.
I personally don't think it will come to that.
No, I don't either.
I think everything will be brought to the surface very soon.
I think it will. I think we're heading for a cataclysmic breakdown of civil disobedience.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is on top of other things that is happening, because we got COVID and all sorts. But obviously around the corner, on the 1st of January, you got Brexit, which obviously people don't realise. I banged on it for a long time, and I used to talk about Brexit all the time on this show because COVID wasn't here then. And people, you know, this government has been incompetent completely in its actions with everything to do with COVID, and lied through their teeth. So do you really believe anything they say come the 1st of January, when you see 17-20 mile hour queues down in Kent and stuff not being on the shelves in shops?
Well, let's hope that they get taken down, because I truly believe the government at the moment are breaking up.
I feel, to a degree, I feel you're right, and I do feel that it gets to a point that if there is complete unrest, then this government would have to stand down. They would have no choice.
I was on the understanding that some of these certain members are on house arrest.
Yeah. I know what you mean. And even Boris Johnson is being sued.
Yeah, and Dominic Cummings is gone. He's been and gone.
Well, thank God for that. I mean, there is an absolutely horrible dark entity.
Oh God. We just need Matt Cox to go.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that the whole cabinet are multi-millionaires, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all dark state, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all up their own backside. They don't really care about anyone else. They do their thing with Chris Titty or whatever his name is, and Valance, and then they go back in the back room and sit with the cabinet colleagues and all have a good laugh and have a drink.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's one rule for them and another rule for us.
I know. And the one thing that's amazing, and I banged on about it last week, is the fact that in tier 2 you could actually go into a pub and have a beer before, but now you have to eat.
A substantial meal, don't forget.
Yeah. And obviously they're empty.
It's crazy.
They are destroying the country and the will of people, or they're trying to, but at the same time it's complete and utter madness.
Well, people are losing their homes, their jobs,
their
businesses, and they don't give a crap.
No, they don't. And I mean, you know, one of the most important factors, all of us with our souls came here, and we're here at this time to go through what is a what would be called a last battle, really, in lots of ways. And we chose.
It is a war. It's a war over evil and good, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war that's happening.
Yeah, it's subtle, and it, you know, you've got all the propaganda in the, you know, they're not wearing German uniforms, but they're acting as if they are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that includes the police as well. And some of them aren't even our police. They use outsiders.
Yeah. And obviously the police are run by corporations as well. They're not actually our police at all.
No.
So going back to your, are you busy? Are you busy at the moment with readings and things like that?
It has its moments.
Yeah.
Yes and no. But I'm just riding the wave. I'm doing a lot of candles at the moment, because I'm doing a lot of homemade candles. So I'm doing that as well.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm filling my day up with all sorts of stuff, really. Been channeling a lot of stuff, and I feel quite peaceful about the future and what's going to happen.
I do, actually. I am very optimistic with the future, and I do feel the future will be a lot better than what people imagine it.
Yeah, so do I. So I'm just, you know, I'm just taking it. I just miss everyone. I miss the events.
I do.
The social contact. Yeah, it's been a bit lonely, but you just crack on, and yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But, you know, all we can do is you know, hold our space of what we have within inside ourselves and helping people to unravel, open up whatever they want, you know, within inside themselves to develop and grow.
Exactly, and more people are awakening. We're entering ascension. So it is, you know, some people are going to get left in 3D, and a lot of us are sort of moving into higher dimensional energies. But I know that we all are going to be in a better space next year. I
think it will. I think it will get better, certainly. Yeah.
Just want to go have a holiday, Clint.
Sorry?
I said I want a holiday.
That would be nice, wouldn't it, to go somewhere? But, you know, obviously, you know, we'll see how that pans out, if you like.
Yeah, because again, the airlines, they're all crumbling, and it's just, you know, some airlines are saying you've got to be vaccinated before you go on their airline and all this bollocks. But
yeah,
no.
I know. Well, you've been amazing, young lady.
Thank you for having me on.
That's all right. It's always a pleasure to have returning guests all the time, and the support, because obviously it is a place for people to open up, and it's a unique show. The show itself is going to go through quite a change next year, to be honest, where we will have split screens and all sorts of things. So, you know, it's going to be in a different place than where it sits right now. Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting.
Fantastic.
And if people want to get hold of you in relation to for readings or anything, how do they do that?
Yeah, they can get through my website, which is www.karenprice, which is price with a Y, .co.uk.
Yeah.
And I'm also on Facebook, so that's Karen Price Clairvoyant. So yeah, there's things on there. People might like vouchers or readings, or I've got my own deck of cards, oracle cards.
That's right, yeah.
Candles, beautiful organic candles. There's all sorts. So yeah, fantastic.
That's brilliant, fantastic. And good luck with those as well. And keep shining light like all our guests tonight. It's been really, really important to shine a light. And you know, hopefully at some point soon we'll all meet up at an event again.
Absolutely. I think we're all going to have a big party. Quite
yeah, that would be good. That would be really good. Well, you've been amazing. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Clint. Have a lovely Christmas.
And you as well. And we're speaking 21.
Fantastic. Bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Karen.
Take care. Lots of love.
All right. Bye. Bye. There is amazing Karen Jane Price. We have got our last guest tonight. And as I was saying there before this last guest, a surprise guest. I don't know who it is. It could be anyone. Matthew John says, it's lovely to hear you, Karen. Penny Warrior says it's a war on our minds. Yes, it is. And, you know, I think that we know who's winning, don't we? I agree with Karen. I do feel optimistic. I do feel next year is going to be different. I do feel that this is going to go to a place where I feel that the dark has just thrown its rattles out the pram. We are living in a completely and utterly ridiculous time that you couldn't even invent, basically. And I do agree with Matthew in relation to understanding, knowing our rights and everything as well. And that is something that needs to be put forward in schools as well, actually learning about what rights and that we have, not what rights they tell us, but the real law, if you like, or the real understanding of where you sit within that. We have got a guest coming up. I cannot believe that story I read out to you, which was about kids in a primary school that actually haven't got any cutlery anymore, and they're saying that they got to eat with their fingers. We are living in a very, very bonkers time, aren't we? Schools produce a reduced menu. Parents have blasted the utterly ridiculous idea. Georgina Fenson, 28. I'll come back to that in a minute. We have our surprise guest. I don't know who he is, but we're about to find out. Hello, Mr. Surprise Guest. Who are you? You're calling Clint Denyer on the Inveiw.
Hello, I had to call somebody. Who are you?
Hello. I can just about hear you. What's your name?
I'm Jack Monster Hunter.
You're Jack Monster Hunter. Jack Monster.
Yeah.
You're speaking very quietly. Is that because you're in a place where you can't be heard?
Yes, yeah. I'm in the middle of Marley Common.
You're in the middle of Marley Common. Wow, what are you after, a monster, are you?
Yeah, I'm after Bigfoot.
Bigfoot on Marley Common. Wow. I was thinking it might be Dominic Cummings.
Never heard of it. Yeah,
So how did you become a monster hunter?
Wow, it was about 2 weeks ago. I won 25 grand on the lottery, and I decided to take my job for 6 months,
Right.
and become a monster hunter last week. So I've been doing this for a week.
You've been doing it for a week. Wow. And how many monsters have you come across?
None yet.
But you're on the lookout for them.
I'm on the lookout for them, yeah.
And what did you do before you were a monster hunter, did you say?
I was a grave digger.
You're a grave digger. Well, I suppose they run in tangent as well, don't they, sometimes?
Well, yeah, it was Deadpool, so I thought I'd be a monster hunter.
Gemma says, is he related to Herman Munster?
No. I did like that series. That was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, especially with the hand and that as well. That was good. So what, it must be very cold where you are at the moment, is it? You must be wrapped up really warm. You don't go monster hunting naked, do you?
No. I'm in my tent at the moment.
Are you in your tent? What sort of tent have you got?
A canvas one.
Gemma says, I heard clients pay him in bags of pickled onion Monster Munch.
No, I've got tripwires outside.
You got tripwires? What about if somebody's out there walking their dog? Is that...
I've got tripwires out there, and they've got saucepans on them. So if something goes...
And I don't know, it's been taken off.
Through the tripwire.
Oh, there you are. You got tripwires, yeah. And Gemma asks if the Monster Hunter's got... Have you got COVID, Monster Hunter?
No, I haven't. No, of anyway. I haven't been tested. I've been out here for a week.
You've been out there, you've been doing it for a week, and you've been out there for a week. And when your tripwires go, it could be a rabbit, couldn't it?
No, it's a bit higher than that. About 3 foot off the ground, so...
Oh, okay.
It's got to be something substantial. I've got saucepans attached to them, so...
Saucepans attached to them for an alarm, is it, if you fall asleep?
Yeah, that's the one.
Wow. And, you know, where did you... How did you... What are you back... What, is something there?
I think there might be something there. Hang on.
Wow. My God, we're live on air. Out of Marley Common. This is Mr. Munster, the Monster Hunter.
I'll just get outside the tent. I'm having a little look around. I've got my nerve gun in front.
You got your nerve gun. What's a nerve gun look like?
Nerve gun.
What's it look like? I've never heard of a nerve gun. What is that? Is that find pellets or something?
Hang on. I'm walking around.
This is intriguing. Live on Marley Common with Munster, the Monster Hunter. He's just had his pots and pans banged together.
I'm just walking by the fire.
You're walking by the fire?
Yeah.
Don't get burnt, will you?
No. I can't see anything out here. I suppose I better put my torch on.
Yeah, put your torch on. You'll be able to see.
Hang on. That's better.
What is there? What's there?
I can't see anything apart from a few trees. No, there's nothing here. I'll go back to the tent.
Well, that's strange because the pots and pans all went like mad, didn't they?
I know it might have been a deer or something.
Oh, yeah, it could be a deer. Oh, my God, what's that?
Did you hear that?
I did. What was that?
I don't know. Hang on. I'm going to go around the other side.
This is live on air on Marley Common. This sounds like it could be a Sasquatch or Bigfoot.
I can't see anything. Hang on,
Did you hear that though? Did you hear that roar? That was a big roar, wasn't it?
It was. I'm just going to get in the ditch here.
You're going to get in the ditch. Well, don't get muddy or anything.
No. It's all right. Hang on, I'll just go and put my head over the top. Oh, bloody hell.
What is it? What can you see?
What the hell are you doing here? There's a couple bonking in the woods.
Well, that didn't sound like that just now. So you've got a couple making love in the woods.
Yeah, but obviously didn't hear it because they were making noise themselves, I suppose. Hang on.
Oh, blimey.
Oh, do you hear that?
Was that them making a noise? It sounds a bit like an animal.
No, I don't know any animal that makes that noise.
Have you heard of the monster that roams Marley Common?
What, sorry?
Have you heard of the monster that roams Marley Common?
No, I hadn't.
Oh.
But someone in the pub told me the other day. So, I've been up here for a week, and this is the first time I've heard it. So,
I mean, it's very interesting because you're in the UK, and Gemma says it sounds like a bear.
You don't have bears in UK.
And she says that you sound like you might need a fisherman's friend.
No, I've got to whisper because I don't want him to anything to know I'm here.
Right, because she says you're a double for Phyllis off of Coronation Street.
Don't watch that rubbish.
So what's happening now?
Hang on a minute.
Everyone is on the edge of their seats here.
I'll just come back to pass my fire.
Pass your fire. Yeah, I can hear you walking about out there. Is it cold out there?
Yeah, it's a bit nippy, it's a bit damp. There's like a foggy rain.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, all the right conditions for a monster to come out.
Yeah, hang on.
Well, you're walking in water now.
Yeah, I'm crossing the stream.
You're crossing the stream. Blimey, you got Wellingtons on.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, I just seen one tripped wire. Oh, it's all right. So it's a false alarm.
That's a false alarm. But what was that noise? That sounded like an animal, didn't it?
Yeah, it was just a small deer. I think. I just see it running off.
Right.
I don't know what that noise is, so I'm going to keep whispering for now.
But have you got? You know, he might come to you because he might be able to see your light.
You never know. Maybe he might be hungry. I should go and open up a tin of baked beans and sausages when I get back.
What for the Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Is that what they like? They like Bigfoots like sausages and baked beans.
I don't know. I'll try it. I'm just going to get a tin out of the tin. That's it. We'll come back out.
Was that that was the zip of the tent? Was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Get to the fire.
Is it? It must be very, very dark there. Oh God!
Okay. There you are.
Did you hear that?
I think I might have frightened him off. I didn't actually see it. I just saw rattles in the undergrowth there.
Are you sure it wasn't the couple?
I have not. Hang on, I can hear a car starting in the background. I think it might have been them.
Right, but that sounded like an animal just now. That's 3 times you heard it. It must be very near where you are.
It must be. I don't know, there might be a cave or something around here. Because when I looked around here a few days ago, I didn't come across anything, but I didn't go over the west side of my camp.
Right.
So,
And what is the west side? Is that a dangerous side?
I don't know. I'll have to go and have a look. Just bear with me a minute while I get my torch.
I'll bear with you, yeah.
Now it's not easy. I've got a more powerful torch now.
You've got a more powerful torch, but you've got a big one in your hand.
Pardon?
You got a big one in your hand.
Yes, I've got a big one in my hand.
Big torch, yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. Just crossing the river again.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit wet there, isn't it?
Yeah, streams normally are wet.
Yeah. Can you see him? Have you got your sausage in your hand and your baked beans?
Hang on, I'm just going into the cave. What's this in the cave?
Oh, you found a cave?
Yeah.
My God, it sounds like he's having a wee, the bear or animal, whoever it is.
Oh, that's better.
Gemma says, how many monsters have you managed to catch in the last 7 days?
None yet.
And when you catch it, if you catch it, what are you going to do with it?
I got no idea. I'll probably drag it back to the camp. And when it regains consciousness, offer him a beer.
So now, I mean, it's quite interesting because obviously you've studied this in the last week quite heavily. I can tell because obviously this Bigfoot likes beans and sausage, and he likes drinking beer.
Well, I hope so.
Well, I hope you're socially distancing with him, you know.
Well, I haven't got a mask for him, if that's what you mean. Yeah, he can sit one side of the fire and I'll sit the other.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be frightened of that sitting there? Because he can't communicate with you, can it?
I don't know. I've never tried communicating with a Bigfoot before.
Well, no, they're quite... What was that?
Oh, hang on.
Is someone coming?
Well, certainly not me.
Why, somebody walking then? What was that?
Oh, bloody hell. Oh.
What is it?
Oh, it's all right. It's just a stag.
Oh, right. Or a stag with big antlers.
Yeah, they normally do. This one has huge antlers. He just walked past. He had a little nose in the tent and then wandered off.
Right. Maybe he could smell your sausage.
I beg your pardon.
Well,
What was it?
you got your sausage out for the what's it, didn't you?
Yeah. Hang on. I'm going back.
I hope you got waders on.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, I'll get wet feet, wouldn't I?
Well, yeah, obviously. Is it very deep? Is the stream very deep?
No, it's only 2-3 inches or something.
All right.
It doesn't have any fish or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I've just got loads of baked beans and sausages and some instant mash.
Right.
That's it.
Well, you think that's what it'll like, yeah?
Oh, that's what I like.
So you're cooking that on the fire, are you?
Yeah, it's cooking at the moment. So hopefully the smell will waft over through the trees and he'll come and sit with me.
Yeah, but he might not come and sit with you. You know, you don't know what he's like, do you? Unless he's what was that?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I thought I heard something. It's great.
I heard that.
What is that?
Oh God, he's coming over.
Well, you can see him.
Yeah, he's coming over.
You can see the Bigfoot.
He's coming over to the fire.
How big is he?
He's about 8.5 feet tall.
Bloody hell. Does he look happy?
Hang on a minute. So are you going to sit down now? That's it. Sit. I'm beckoning him to sit. He's sitting down.
Yeah, but is he trained? You've trained him already.
I don't know about that, but I'm beckoning him to sit down.
Okay.
He's sitting
And
down.
he's doing that, is he?
Yes.
And what's he look like? What's his face look like?
Well, it's all hairy. I'm not going to shine a torch in his eyes.
Well, no, he might not like that.
I'm just going to offer him a beer.
What he likes, he might like beer. You never know.
I'm just showing him what to do with it.
What's he doing with it? Is he drinking it?
No, I'm showing him what to do with it. I'm
Is he
passing
the
it
one?
over to him.
Is he like the guy off the bear off of the Hofmeister tins?
No, that's a bear.
Oh right, yeah. Well, I
This
suppose
is
he's
a
a bit
bear.
like a bear, isn't he?
No, he's similar to what you see on the telly.
What,
you know,
like
in programs and
Yeah, but aren't you scared? Aren't you frightened?
no. I had my Weetabix this morning.
Well, I suppose if you ate your Weetabix, you'd be all right, wouldn't you?
Hang on, let's see if he wants anything to eat. Do you want anything to eat? You speak to me. Go on.
Well, he's speaking to you in you know, this is a complete and utter new generation thing here.
Yeah, no, hang on. I was just offering him a plate with the mince and the mash.
Right.
Well, he likes that. He's coughing it up.
Well, at least he's not eating you.
No.
Oh no! What is you upset him?
No, there's another one. There's somebody else. He's got up and he's running back into the woods.
Oh God! What, has he forgot something?
No, I don't know what that was. Maybe it's his mate calling him always. I don't know. Well, he's gone.
And you're not scared at all at seeing him?
No. First human contact with a Bigfoot.
Wow!
How about that? Live on your show.
You should have actually took a picture. But it probably frightened him, wouldn't it? With the flash, if you flashed at him.
Yeah.
If you flashed at him, he'd be very frightened if you flashed at him, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he probably would. He'd probably flash himself. He got a bigger one than me.
Gemma says he sounds like a fly-mo.
Well, no fly I've ever heard like that, I tell you.
So, you gave your job up to do this job, and what you hoping to get one of these into captivity, are you?
No. I just wanted to see if I could meet one or capture one or whatever. But now I've met him and I know he is I wouldn't say sociable animal. He's no harm to anybody.
Wow.
And obviously they got a family or something like that, and he's gone off. So
he's
my job is done.
Called by his Bigfoot wife.
It could well be. It could be under the big thumb.
It could be under the Bigfoot thumb.
Yeah. Sounds strange. Well, that's all done now, so I can pack up soon and leave. And my next quest will be to find the Loch Ness Monster.
Really? You're going up to Scotland to Loch Ness?
Yes. That'll be an adventure, won't it?
Well, you'd have to get out in a little boat on that, won't you?
Well, yeah, I'll have to get on a boat, yeah. I just hope I don't have to turn around and say that we need a bigger boat.
Well, no. Well, what do you think that the Loch Ness Monster will be friendly?
I don't know. I haven't met him before.
You haven't met Bigfoot before, but he seemed quite friendly.
I know, you have to take the chance, don't you? I mean, has anybody tried to meet the Loch Ness Monster?
Well, no, I suppose they haven't. They tried to look for him.
Yeah, but he's probably scared, you see.
Gemma says, did he enjoy the beans?
Oh, he scoffed them down.
Did he?
Yeah, and the mash and the mince meat as well. He had that.
Wow. I'm astounded to I mean, I'm quite taken aback that you've decided to call this show and do this live on air.
Well, I had to get it out there somewhere, you see. And a friend gave me your number, so suggested I give you a call when I'm over there.
Wow.
So now my job is done.
Gemma says she's not sure if you're going to catch Loch Ness Monster with sausage and beans.
No, probably not. I might have to use another bait.
Yeah, what would you use bait-wise for Loch Ness Monster?
A worm.
A worm? Yeah, that's an idea, isn't it?
Yeah, go fishing for it.
Or maybe you need, Gemma says, a battered Mars bar and haggis and iron brew.
No, a bit of whiskey.
Oh, yes.
I think.
Yeah, he might like a bit of whiskey, mightn't he?
Well, if I got a big rod.
If you take your big rod and yeah, but if you put a worm on your big rod and dangle it in the water, then, you know, I'm sure the Loch Ness Monster would see your worm wiggling in the water, wouldn't it?
It probably would, yes. That's why I won't do it. I should get a line on the end of the rod and tie the bottle of whiskey to it and chuck it overboard.
Wow.
Just in case, well, no one's offered the Loch Ness Monster a drink before, have they? So he may want a drop of whiskey. That's
very true, actually, yeah. I mean, you know, that's very true. I mean, you conquered a science here with a beast that is supposed to be mythological, isn't it? It's real, but you know.
Well, yeah. Then I could send over the side there a haggis because he might want to, you know, have something to eat after he's had a drink.
Yeah. Gemma says, take your big rod and ply it with whiskey, and he stands a good chance of taking it home.
Yeah. But what am I going to do with a Loch Ness Monster at home?
Well, I don't know. You ain't got a big enough pond, have you, really? Because, you know, it's big, isn't it? Well, I think it's big. A lot of people say it's big.
Well, I don't think it'd fit in shot mill ponds.
No, I don't think so. I think it'd be too shallow because Loch Ness goes down a long way, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think what I'll have to do is, well, say hello to him, have a drink with him, and then say, right, I'll see you soon one day. You know, I know where to find you. I won't tell anybody else where you are.
Right.
And then he might invite me to his place. See?
Well, yeah, but you'd have to have a snorkel or something, wouldn't you?
I may have to. I don't know. I might probably have to have some oxygen bottles and go down. But you see, if he's a what I think he is, a lot of people think he is a plesiosaur or something like that. Then he's a reptile.
Yeah.
But they're not fish. Therefore, they have to breathe air sometimes. So either he lives in some kind of cave down there underwater, but it goes out into like a cave and there's no water in there as such, you know. He lives there, in which case I can go in there and breathe and maybe hang out with him.
Wow.
Hang out with the Loch Ness Monster, yeah.
That would be amazing.
That could be amazing.
What would you do after the Loch Ness Monster? Would you try to go to space to see what's going on, or would you try and go and find aliens?
No, I don't know. I might. A cousin of mine said, "Why don't you come over to Australia?"
Australia, wow. What's over there?
Oh, plenty of desert aborigines.
Well, Australia's a lovely place, yeah. Apparently.
Well, yeah. Apparently, they got their own monster or something there in the outback. So
have they?
Yeah, they haven't seen or found or anything like that. So he suggested I go over there.
Wow.
So I thought, yeah, I could do that.
Well, that sounds really good.
I said to him, there's just one thing I need when I get over there. He said, what's that? I said, a cork. Loads of corks on a hat.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, to keep all the critters away.
I've got to look the part, yeah.
Yeah,
Keep
absolutely.
all the flies. Because what you do with them, you soak the corks in Fosters, and then you hang them from your hat, and when the flies land on them, they get pissed and fall off.
I can understand that, yes. Well, I mean, it's quite remarkable you calling tonight and doing that all live on air. That's quite incredible.
Yeah, first for me. I've been out here for a week, and that's the first time. Yeah,
wow.
Lovely.
Gemma says, Australia's a lovely place, apart from the fact everything there is poisonous and wants to kill you.
Well, I don't know about that. Don't think my cousin wants to kill me.
Well, no, probably not.
I don't know. I know there's a few poisonous things out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything that's going to kill you as such. I think there's a lot of myth. You know, what they put out to the ponds to make them a bit scared.
Yeah. Well, you might even develop an Australian accent out there, mightn't you?
I might do, yeah. You never know. Depends how long I stay out there. I might stay out there for a little while, you see, because it's a vast country, isn't it?
It is, yeah, massive country. There's more sheep than anything else, I think.
Yeah, lots of sheep, cattle. So, yeah. And I might go to the outback, spend a few weeks out there, you know.
Well, that sounds
bush
great.
tucker. Well, I've got to take some baked beans and some mincemeat, whatever, and out there. Because if it worked for Bigfoot, it might work for the monster over there, you see.
Well, it might do. You're very true. They might be related, might they?
They may well be, yeah, because one might have emigrated, you see.
Yeah, went to Australia.
It could have been an immigrant. See, it could be a cousin of the Bigfoot.
Yeah, it could well be.
In which case, you know, I could tell him I've met his cousin over at Barley Common. And he's, you know, and he's fine, he's living all right, and he's got a missus, and he's under big foot and a big thumb.
Yeah.
But he's all right. Yeah.
Gemma says you could become a Sheila hunter.
A Sheila hunter?
Yeah.
Why do I want to hunt women over there for? They only get in the way where I'm going.
Well, I think a Sheila. What's a Sheila? A Sheila is a terminology, isn't it? In Australia.
Yeah, I thought a Sheila was a female Australian.
Well, it may well be. You know, so you might have a sex change while you're out there.
No, we're not having a sex change out there.
You might be a transgender hunter.
No. I hope they don't find a transgender Bigfoot over there. That would be scary prospect, wouldn't it?
That would be something else, wouldn't it, really? Yeah, that would be...
Yeah, you can't call me Bigfoot. You can't call me anything. I self-identify as a hairy monster.
Yeah. Wow. I think it's been amazing. You live on air meeting Bigfoot like that. I mean, you must have a science world sitting on the edge of their seats.
Well, not yet. Hopefully after it gets out there, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will. I'm sure there are people listening right now trying to ring up various scientific organisations as I speak.
That's right. And I could be on the news.
You could be. You could be on the news.
Jack Monster Hunter.
Wow, yeah. I think it's.
You never know.
I think it's amazing.
It is, and I should give you a call back in a couple of weeks or so, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and let you know how I'm getting on. How are you getting to Scotland?
You're going to drive up there, are you?
Well, I can't fly.
No.
But I got too much gear, you see.
Well, yeah, cool.
I will have too much gear. No, I got a van, you see.
Oh, well, that's good. Has it got Monster Hunter on the side of it?
No.
What's it say on the side of your van?
I don't advertise myself.
Well, no, that's true.
You know, I don't want people to know what I'm at because I might get all sorts of people come around and want to join the quest, you know.
Well, that's true.
I work alone.
Yeah, you could get a lot of raving lunatics join you, couldn't you?
Absolutely. It gets them mad nutters. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure if I turned up with a few people, and there's no chance of having a drink and having a meal with Nessie, is there?
Well, no, but I mean, Nessie, I mean, to have a meal and a drink, it means you probably have to eat raw fish.
No, well, I can introduce it in the cooking, can't I?
Well, I suppose, yeah, but it wouldn't be much good in the water because it'd go out.
No, when we get into his sort of cave complex,
Yeah,
he must have
you
down
know
there.
he's got a cave.
Because he can't, because if he's what I think he is, you know, he's this kind of, he's not a fish. In which case he's a mammal or a lizard or something like that, you know. So,
Yeah.
a big one, right? So, he's obviously got to come up for air, or he's got his own air supply down there, in which case it might be like a cave or something like that.
Maybe he's got oxygen bottles.
No, I don't think you can have oxygen bottles.
Well, yeah, well, he has. Gemma says he's going to walk 500 miles and walk 500 more. That's what you're proclaiming, isn't it?
Very good, very good. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, well, hopefully in 3 weeks' time I'll be able to proclaim that I have found and dined with the Loch Ness Monster.
I have never heard anything like it before in my life. I think it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, and then off to Australia to find Bigfoot's cousin.
Right, an Australian Bigfoot.
Yeah. I just hope he ain't got corks in his hat and he walked around with an Australian accent. Sounds like Crocodile Dundee.
Well, yeah, let's hope he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't, but, you know.
I'll have to shoot him if he does.
Well, it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you, young man.
And to you. Thank you for listening.
And thank you very much. I mean, it's groundbreaking. I'm blown away, to be honest.
Yep. I think a lot of people will be blown away when they hear all this.
Yes, absolutely. And I look forward to speaking to you next time when you're in Scotland.
Okay, than you. I'll have to brush up on my Scottish, I expect.
Yeah, you'll have to wear your kilt as well, won't you?
Yeah, because I expect Nessie will understand me unless I speak Scottish.
Well, no, you'd have to brush up on your Scottish.
Yeah.
And Gemma says, dined or died. Well, we will see. We will catch up you in a few weeks' time. And where?
We certainly will.
Yeah, absolutely. And she says, I'd be blown away by a monster that has just eaten beans.
It would certainly send up a few bubbles, wouldn't it?
Well, yes.
I wouldn't like to be on a boat on top of Loch Ness when that.
Well, I know.
Beast farts.
Well, it'd be like a bomb going off, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd send a tsunami, wouldn't it? It would wipe out Inveiw.
Oh my God, yeah, it would, wouldn't it? With massive tidal waves.
Yeah.
Well,
you didn't think of that.
Well, no, you have to be very careful what you take up there with the methane content.
Well, that's it. You know, global warming and all that sort of thing might have activists in their boat.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could have Greenpeace up there, you know, campaign against you actually going down and giving him beans.
Well, yeah, especially if they're not Scottish beans. I'll have to go to the Scottish supermarket first, I think, and say, look, they're Scottish. I got it from a Scottish supermarket, so leave me alone.
Gemma says, thank God he didn't give him sprouts. A flamethrower.
Oh, God, no. No, those mini Nazi cabbages. No.
I know. Well, you've been amazing, young man. Thank you very much for being on the show. And thank you very much for sharing that amazing experience. I've never heard quite anything like it ever before in my life.
Well, here, I tell you what, if Inveiw can endorse me, that would be great.
Well, yeah, we will do that. No trouble.
Yeah, Jack Monster Hunter.
Jack Monster Hunter, yeah. We will.
Sponsored by the Inveiw.
Sponsored by the Inveiw, absolutely. It's got a ring to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we will
So,
speak to you soon, Mr. Monster.
yes, we will. And I'll
And
say,
you take care and
over and out.
get your bits together for Scotland.
Yes, my bits will be well together for Scotland. I'm not going to be wearing a kilt.
Gemma says we can certify you.
You certify me?
Yeah. Well, you have to be certificated to go over the border, won't you?
Well, not yet.
Well,
no, not yet.
No, but, you know.
When I get over, the time I want to come back, there may be an independent country, Scotland, see? And, of course, they may opt to stay in the EU, in which case I need a passport to get over the border to get back to England.
Well, you would, unless you sneaked over, but then you'd be an illegal immigrant.
Well, yeah, unless I get a passport from up here or something like that and think, right, sod you, England, I'm going to get the next plane over to Australia and go straight from there.
Well, yes, I'm sure that you could do that.
Yeah, that may be an idea, actually.
Well, there you are. Well, I'm blown away with you tonight, young man. Thank you very much. That's been very, very interesting and completely groundbreaking. Never ever heard before. And you're the first person to sit down and share baked beans and sausages with a Bigfoot.
Yeah, never a dull moment with Jack Monster Hunter.
I can tell you, I can tell that. Yeah, definitely. We will speak to you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, we will.
And
over and out.
Yes, thank you very much, Jack Monster Hunter.
Bad.
And there he goes, Jack Monster. Wow, what can I say? And where has time gone? We started at 7. It's now 9:30. We've had a plethora of guests tonight, including Jack Monster, that actually met live on air on the Inveiw a Bigfoot on Marley Common in Surrey, of all places. I didn't even know there was one there, but he put tripwire out with his pots and pans and he found one. And he actually enticed him to come and sit down and have beans. And then, of course, we had Karen Jane Price. Thank you very much. And Yolandi Boshoff. Fantastic interview as well. And of course, we started off the show with Moria Wilson. Absolutely brilliant. And I thank all my guests for being involved in the show. Absolutely fantastic. As I said, we got next week on the show, we've got Patricia De Angelis all the way from Australia. He might actually be able to help out Jack Monster, because she might be able to give him some tips and that of how to find this beast. And we have got Grant Hicks on next week, which will be really, really good. And another surprise guest that we don't know who it is yet. So another packed show, as you say. And, you know, it is Christmas coming, even though it doesn't feel like it in a way with what's going on. But we must hold on to our thoughts, our emotions, ourselves. And we must, as the message clearly tonight is, that we look at ourselves and bring ourselves forward. We are heading for new times, great times. I do believe 2021 will be a better year. And I do feel things will be sorted and found out. You've all been amazing as usual. Thank you very much for listening to the Inveiw and watching it. It's been fantastic to be here with you again. And we'll do it all again next week. So have a safe week out there, everyone. And I will speak to you next week and catch up with you all. So have a fantastic week and stay safe. And yeah.